What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Drive episode. You know, I really feel fired up right now. I feel like, I just had to drive my little sister somewhere. And I swear, like, my best ideas, like, whenever I'm driving, I just feel like my brain just flows with all these ideas. Even, like, rapping, like, freestyling. I was having, like, all these, like, cold bars coming to me. I don't know, it was something. But all right, I have a topic that I am just fired up about. So, if you guys don't watch my Drop podcast, I've been talking about this idea about how a lot of, like, a big concept about, like, teenagers is that we we only think about ourselves, and that we have, like, this struggle thinking about the future. And I attack that a lot. Even my book that I wrote months ago, I attacked that a lot, just kind of trying to figure out why we have this perception on teenagers and sort of the solution for it, and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? Alright, I need to open up my mind a little bit. I need to figure out, where is this coming from? Why do people have this idea that teenagers can't think in the future? And it's really helped me sort of dial down onto what exactly the issue is and how we can sort of present it in a way that will allow other people to say, you know what, maybe we can do, you know, maybe we don't know everything that we thought that we knew about teenagers, and that there is some hope. And it's actually getting more and more crucial that we bring in some of that hope, because of the fact, like look at what's going on with the everything right now. You know, a lot less social interaction, so there's a lot less testing socially, and a lot more of going to YouTube and building these weird relationships with these people like me, producing content that like, you're only seeing me right now whenever I'm fired up and really passionate, but you're not seeing me earlier today whenever I was at work and I was tired, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to go home and take a shower and eat. So, like, you're only seeing, like, a small portion of me, and that's the problem, because you're building a relationship, that portion that you see, but that's not me. That's not always me. You know, I make mistakes a lot. I'm not always focused on, you know, goal setting and directions. Now, a lot of my time is spent devoted to that, because it's just been so beneficial in my life. But look, it's becoming so crucial that we start thinking about kids as intelligent people that can use their brain, because if we don't start pushing this culture of goal setting and thinking forward earlier on, these kids aren't going to decide for themselves that, hey, you know what, maybe I need to turn off YouTube for a second so I can work on this that's going to help me do this in the future. See, the problem is, like before we had iPhones, it was we would be able to go to school with awkwardness and socially test ourselves and sort of figure out, you know, what is good in, well, like, what a positive thing to say is to someone else. And then also we learn how to respond to people and sort of deal with awkwardness and even if it's not awkward, if we're not used to that social interaction, it does feel awkward, you know? And that's something that we've been struggling with the introduction of, like, iPhones and stuff. And it's just going to get worse now that we don't have kids in school all the time. And so we need to start pushing kids to start thinking about what is productive for themselves and what do they want. And all right. The biggest problem is we're not thinking correctly about helping kids figure out what they want, because we think that, to us, we're saying, hey, you need to figure out, you know, what you want to do for college. You know, all throughout school, everyone say, like, oh, college is the big school, you know, even grade school, and they would talk about your permanent record, right? And they would talk about, and getting a job, like why is that such a big deal? How about what will fulfill you? What do you want people to think of you as whenever you grow up? What adult personality do you want to be? You know, do you want to be intelligent? Do you want to be smart? Because that is a much more important factor in your future than what job do you want. Now you spend a lot of time at your job, but that's not who you are, right? You spend a lot more time with who you are. I think we need to start thinking about our brain as a relationship, or like the voice in your head as like your best friend almost, and that is who you are. You know, build that relationship with yourself. But anyway, that's not the point of this. So the science, so I've done some research, and I'm going to keep diving into it, obviously. I'm going to keep pushing and keep challenging myself because I want to get this right, because this is what I'm so serious about. But what I've learned, what I've discovered is that the idea that teenagers especially can't sort of figure out like what they want to do comes from this idea that your brain is still developing until 25. Okay, that is the basic knowledge that most people know. Let's take a step further. So we know that your brain is still developing. What specifically? Actually, your prefrontal cortex is the region. There's a piece in that region of the brain that is still developing, and that piece is supposedly the newest if you're talking about evolution. It is also like the most complex and whatnot. Now the piece that they're very, very specifically talking about, I don't have the name memorized, but it has to do with shit, I'm drawing a blank. Pushing back or not. Like whenever you have an urge to do something, to restrain yourself from satisfying that urge. Oh shoot, I really can't think of it. But you know, the ability to postpone gratification. That's it. So postponing gratification. And this is kind of tied to the whole deal with thinking about what would be beneficial for you now, or what you don't feel like doing now, but that would be beneficial for you later. So rather than going to a party, having that self-love, as Will Smith says, to say, you know what, no, I need to study because I know if I study this, get a good grade on this A, I'm going to feel much better and more satisfied with myself rather than if I go to this party and whatever. But look, part of that is figuring out, like, who do you want to be? Do you even care about getting an A? You know what I mean? Are you going to feel better building that network at that party? You know what I mean? Because there's a decision point in there that you have to decide which direction is going to be better for the person that I want to be. Setting that sort of objective, that goal of the perfect individual that you want. Now, look, there's this terrible idea, all right? This terrible idea. And I'm telling you right now, 30, 45 years later, because right now our science is we have this much science. Now, all right. If you're 100 years ago, you're like, wow, they've made this much progress. But in the effect in our society, it's not good. It's not good. And I'm telling you right now, 30 to 40, 50 years later, whenever we've realized that all this lack of responsibility hasn't been working for us and has been increasing depression and increasing stress and pushing us away from that relationship with ourself. You know, that lack of responsibility, whenever we start realizing that it's not healthy, we're going to start studying it, getting the science for it, and we're all going to realize that I'm right, that what I'm saying right now is correct. So here's where I'm coming from. So the idea, if you take that you know, delaying gratification piece of your brain that's not developed yet, if you take a step further, what does it mean for it not to be developed? It means that the synapses aren't there. Now, what I still need to look into, just to, you know, keep an open mind, what I still need to look into is what's called synapsogenesis or something, basically the creation of synapses. And if I remember, because I read a psychology textbook last year, if I remember, it's simply just creating neuro waves through or in your brain, and as you're developing in these years from childhood, then there's a period where it slows down into adolescence, where it's actually growing the most, up till 25, roughly 25. That's whenever you create the most of those neural pathways. But those neural pathways are created more by experiences in the world and connections that you make with everything to kind of tie it together in this big network, in this big web. So where in that whole picture, and of course I'm going to research, and if I'm lying to you about something, I'm going to let you know, but where in that whole picture, that whole grand scheme of things, does it seem like it's impossible for a child to be able to think about delaying gratification, to think about what they want, what type of person do they want to be, not what they want to do, but what type of person do they want to be? Where in that does it show any evidence that a teenager can't think about more than themselves, you know? Because we just give up. We just say, oh, well, they're adolescents, they can't, control that. No. Completely mistaken. And I'm telling you, 30, 45 years from now, everything's going to point back to this and say, shoot, he was right. And a lot of people are probably going to say I'm wrong. And, you know what, my relationship, my girlfriend's parents think that a lot of the things I'm saying is wrong and is not really good for their daughter. And, that basically they had the conversation. They've kind of been feeding into her head like the idea that that we're sort of on two different pathways, that me and her are on two different pathways. But that's because they want her to conform to the normal way of life. I didn't go to college, but that's because I have a vision of what I want to do, and college just doesn't get me there. For her, she had no idea. She picked something, and they said, but you need to go to college. You need to figure out how you're going to get a job and how you're going to work. That's it. What about fulfillment? Where is fulfillment? But anyway, but guess who's winning? Guess who is probably in the best possible phase of my relationship that I've ever been in? I'm winning. She's still with me. She's committed. We're both committed to each other. And it's fantastic. It's been better than it ever has before. Back before I figured out what I wanted to do for the future, back before, whenever I thought I was going to be a math teacher, or I actually wanted to be either a math teacher or a theoretical physicist, professor. Well, in the college setting, the sciencey setting, whatever. But I wanted to say those two things. But back before that, it's never been better like it is now. But it's because I have this now set idea that, look, this is my relationship. I'm going to choose this, and I'm going to make this the best that it can be. And I set this vision of what I want this relationship to be, and I'm working, I'm putting into it, I'm investing into it for the long term, so that in the future it's going to be even better. And right now I'm just trying to build these connections, you know what I mean? Just that mentality. And look, I'm 18. All right? I'm 18. And I know 25 is an average, but I'm 18. I don't see, look, I'm fresh out of high school. I just last year was in high school. And not much but 5 years ago, I was coming into high school. I remember very, very well what it's like to be a middle schooler and what it's like to be a high schooler, and especially what it's like, not so much, it's a little bit distant, but I'm so close to back whenever I was a young child that I still have that connection with that brain. Like this is the same brain, the same voice that's talking that was there years ago. And also my little sister is going into her middle school, well, actually a few years into her middle school phase. So yeah, I've been around it for so long, and I've been studying this and just collecting all this data. Unfortunately, no one was sort of pushing me in this direction, or maybe they didn't even know how yet. But I'm just saying, this is the focus that we should be focusing on. How can we get kids younger and younger to start thinking about who they want, what type of person do they want to be, and how can they get there. Start setting goals to achieve that. And what we need to do is realize that that is a viable option, because right now we just want to ignore it. We want to ignore all responsibility, but we need to start taking responsibility for ourselves and start thinking about building that relationship, setting those goals. Once we accept that this is at least something that we could test out, at least something that's all I'm asking for. Let's just test this out. Let's let this generation be the big science experiment where we change this culture. We flip it around from lack of self-responsibility to, no, me, I need to figure myself out. I need to figure out who it is that I want to be and how can I get there. Like, let's just experiment and see what's up here. You know, now, how early will we push back the 25 brains still developing those synapses? Because to me, I think it's more, I have a theory where it's more that that your brain is still in that hyperactive space of creating those neuro networks until you're, you know, roughly 25. But even then, it's an average, so it could be longer or whatever. But there's a reason for everything. So look, there's no limit. I'm saying this now, and I think 30, 45 years, like I said, 30, 45 years later, I swear to you, the science is gonna come out saying that this is correct. And if it's not, I'll let you know. And if I find anything, I'm definitely gonna let you know. I'll be the first one to tell you I was wrong. Because the truth is, I want the truth, and I want to help. I want to change. You know what's going on, but there is no limit on how much we can develop. There's only a time period at which the rate of the development is faster than other times. But like I said, there is no limit to how much we can develop what goes on in here. So rather, we should be taking advantage of this adolescence rather than seeing this adolescence as a time where it's growing into something. Rather, let's grow it, and then once it slows down, let's just keep trying to push it. You know what I mean? Once it slows down, let's try and keep it up there. You know what I mean? But this is the time to take advantage of what's going on, not to wait and say, oh, once I'm 25, I'll be at this level. No, you can be at this level now. Once you're 25 is whenever you're going to slow down from that, you know, shooting up. But anyway, look, it's going to happen. Let's be the science experiment that tries that. Let's let this generation be the experiment. And honestly, we have to. It has to be this way unless you want to see all these young children struggling and not doing anything with their lives because they never had this time to explore with the rest of humanity together. Trying to figure out, you know, how to socialize and how to be a human being and how all this stuff works and how to deal with insecurity and uncomfortability in awkward situations. This is something that we have to do because it's the more technical we get, the less and less we are interacting with each other. Unless Neuralink makes it like super easy to interact with each other. Maybe that'll be a good thing. I don't know, but let's not risk it. Let's just say right now, let's do this. And also it'd be so productive. It'd be hyper productive. This would be like the super generation of people that would just take off and shoot off in different directions. And also build a culture of leadership in this whole entire generation. Think about, you know, what will the world look like? All right, if we just start in the United States, or even in one state, what could all the children of Missouri as leaders achieve? And replace Missouri with wherever you are. You know what I mean? This is about building a culture everywhere. We want the U.S. to be even greater in leadership. And then think about this. If we got the whole entire globe, every single country to start thinking the same way, long term, thinking about goals and who they want to be and how they want to connect with people, and how to be happy, like what will truly fulfill them and how they can achieve that. Think about like that's world peace. You know what I mean? That's just a better communication, better connection, more philosophical, more understanding to each other. It's just it's a very optimistic idea, and there's no harm in just trying it, just seeing. Because look, in order to find out, you have to experiment. You have to take tests. Someone had to experiment on a brain to figure out that there is a developmental period in the brain until 25. You know what I mean? Someone had to do the research. Right now we're in this phase where we would be denying it. We're like, no, you can't control. Your brain just does it. You're biologically, you just go through this process, and you just have to wait for the process to go. Someone probably said that about, the idea that, maybe we have like stages of development in our brain. That culture, that generation is probably like, no, that's stupid. I don't know. Maybe they thought like God put these things in your head that made you smart, or I don't know. Maybe people thought you were born with it all along, or I don't know. Whatever people thought, they probably looked at this guy trying to figure this out like, that's stupid. That's a waste of time. Let's not be that people. Let's be curious. Let's just try it. Let's just be experimentative. Let's just explore it. But anyway, so I'm writing. I've already written a good book on it. Now that book was written earlier, and so it has a lot of like my high school emotions because I'm fresh out of high school. I actually wrote that during quarantine, but nonetheless, it still has an incredible value. It's just very raw in how I felt at the time. And not as clean because I'm not, you know what I mean? Obviously, months ago, I knew less than I do now. You know what I mean? Because I'm always growing. And then even 2 years from now, I'm probably going to look back at what I write today and be like, wow, that was not so clean as to where I am at 2 years in the future. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm already writing stuff about this and trying to make content and really sort of diving into all this stuff and trying to challenge myself to figure all this out and just trying to pass on as much as I possibly can. But truth is, like, you guys have to pick it up. You know what I mean? I can't just, if I'm just spouting information and it's just getting lost in the void, it's worthless. You know what I mean? So just try it out. Just think about, here's the task. Just think about, consider this question: what would fulfill me? Think about, what does the completely fulfilled version of me look like, and just like imagine, create this I don't know, this anime character, or this I don't know, just create this character in your head from a book or from an anime or from whatever, a video game. Just picture this human being that's the perfect you, and really get detailed. Is that person, are they strong? Are they intelligent? Are they fancy? Do they dress well? You know what I mean? Are they, I don't know, just get as detailed as you can. And are they enthusiastic? Are they optimistic? And these are all the details of what you want to strive for, that's the question that I want you guys to ask yourselves. Just, what does the ultimate fulfilled individual version of you look like? And then, just as a little quick tip, if you struggle to sort of create that image, you're not as like artistic, maybe you're more like analytical. So analyze a bunch of different people that you look up to, and pick out all the traits that they have that you find are incredible. So like if you think about Joe Rogan and you like the fact that he's funny, that's your trait. If you look at Abraham Lincoln, you like the fact that he was very strong and very proud and deep voiced, or I think he boxed or whatever. Like the strength, take that. Enthusiasm, take that. Whatever. Just analyze all these people and put that together. But if you are creative, so you can be creative and you can be analytical. Just pick this figure out this image and anyway, so that's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. This is getting a little bit long. Didn't mean for. I'm just very passionate today. Like I said, car rides do something to me. I don't know. But yeah. So thanks for watching. And I'm gonna be doing some things I'm not gonna talk about because it's getting late, or getting long. But anyway, so thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you stuck around for all of it because it's really, really good. I feel like this is very raw emotion that I think is a lot of value if it is shared. And I'm gonna keep pushing this. You know what I mean? I feel like it's all coming together, and so I just need to keep pushing this and pushing this and pushing this. Because this is what I believe in, you know, and I really do believe that the world would be a better place altogether if we just collaboratively got this idea together. Anyway, okay, I need to stop. So thanks for watching, and I'm gonna check you guys later for the next drop podcast episode. And all right, so I'll check you later, and I'll see you.